Good morning, students. So, in last class, we have discussed that is the body cavity. Body cavity, it is differentiated into three types, where body cavity means it is a cavity present between the body wall and alimentary canal. We can call as a body cavity. It is the three types. One is acoelomates, pseudocoelomates, and an eucoelomates. And also we have studied the exoskeleton, the hard structure which is present in the body, which gives the definite shape, structure and support for an organism. We can call that as a skeleton. So here the skeleton is of two types. One is endoskeleton as well as an exoskeleton. And also we have studied according to the body temperature, the organisms are classified into two types. One is homeothermic organisms, or we can call them as the warm-blooded organism, or an endothermic organisms. And the second type is the poikilothermic organisms, or otherwise we can call them as the cold-blooded organisms, and otherwise you can call them as an ectotherms. And also we have studied the metamerism. Metamerism means here this linear serial arrangement of repetition of the segments are the somites. Somites are the segments. We can call that as a metamerism. So here two type of metamerisms are there. One is a pseudo metamerism, where we see in a platyhelminthes, and the true metamerism, that is seen here repetition, that means inner side as well as outside. Inner side is in the form of septa and outer side in the form of grooves or annuli which are forming. We can call them as the first, that is we can call them as the true metamerism. Example from arthropods to the from annelida to the chordates will having the true metamerism is taken place. Next, coming to this, that is respiration. Here the respiration. So here what is the respiration means the oxidation of food materials. Here oxidation of food materials, oxidation of food materials which can produce oxidation of food materials which can produce energy, which can produce the energy in the form of an ATP. Here ATP means we can call them as adenosine triphosphate. So the energy which is present in the form of triphosphate, energy which is present in our body, that is in the form of ATP. That ATP which is producing here ATP we can call as the currency of the cell. We can call them as a currency of a cell also. Why means here without the currency or without money, here we cannot, our daily activities are not be taken place. Likewise in our body also, without ATP, here we are not able to get any metabolical activities not be taken place with the help of an ATP. So that oxidized food, where the food is oxidized means it broken down, the complex food is converted into simple. When it is processed to different parts of the body, that is converted in the form of a glucose. That glucose is producing energy in the form of an ATP. So that is we are producing. So that this process, this type of, that means oxidation of food materials which can produce the energy in the form of ATP. This process we can call as the respiration. So here respiration can be taken place. Here here it takes place two type of respirations. Two types of respiration. Two types of respiration. One is I can call as the aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, and the second one is the anaerobic respiration. So here the respiration is of two types. That means based on the presence of the oxygen. Here the respiration is classified into two types. One is aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic means in the presence of oxygen. If the respiration, aero means air, that means in the presence of oxygen. If the respiration is taken place in the presence of an oxygen, here a respiration is taken place. Respiration is taken place in the presence of oxygen, then it is called as the aerobic respiration. So here what is the food you are taken place in the presence of oxygen, they are broken down, and that broken down energy, we are getting energy in the form of ATP. This ATP is utilized for our body in the form of a glucose that is producing in our body, and this ATP is utilized for various metabolic and activities we are utilizing. So this type of respiration is called as the aerobic respiration. And anaerobic, here anaerobic means in the anaerobic means A means absenting. Here in the absence of, if the respiration is taken place in the absence of oxygen, here the respiration is taken place in the absence of oxygen, then this type of respiration we can call as the anaerobic respiration. So here anaerobic means here we can see in lower organisms like bacterial cells or yeast cells. In this type we can take in place an example where in the absence of, otherwise our muscle cells which are present in our body, here they are called as the anaerobic. How the muscle cells means, here the first undergoes the aerobic respiration, later they undergoes the anaerobic respiration. That means, for example, if you are walking, continuously you are walking, we are get a pain. When pain is produced, here what happens, the aerobic is converted into an anaerobic respiration. So when pain is get, here you have to take some relax. So when once you take 1 or 2 minutes relaxed, here again the process will be taken place aerobic, where here the yeast cells, that means here lactic acid is produced in the muscle cells. Due to the producing of lactic acid, here they undergoes the anaerobic respiration, then we are able to get the pain. So this is the process where the anaerobic, where in the absence of oxygen is taken place, we can call as the anaerobic respiration. In the presence of oxygen it is taken place, that we can call as the aerobic respiration. So detailedly we will discuss it in the future classes. While going into the topics, we will go detailedly in these topics. Now I have to explain, means it takes more time to explain. So when you going into the topics, we can detailedly will explain the topics. And also here the respiration is taken place, mainly that respiration in organisms. In organisms, here the respiration is taken place by the general body surface, and the second one is the second one we can call as the cutaneous respiration, cutaneous the respiration, and the third one is the bronchial respiration, and fourth one is the pulmonary respiration. Pulmonary respiration, and also here it takes place by some other organisms will taken place by a book lungs also. So here general body surface means through body surface if the exchange of gases are taken place we can taken place as the general body surface. Cutaneous, the respiration is taken place by the skin. If the respiration is taken place by the skin, we can call as the cutaneous respiration. Bronchial respiration means the respiration is taken place by gills. If it is taken place by the gills, we can call it as the bronchial respiration. And pulmonary, if the respiration is taken place by the lungs. If it is the respiration is taken place by the lungs, then we can call them as the pulmonary respiration. So when going into the topics detailedly, we will discuss this type of respirations. So this is where that is a topic of the respiration, where the oxidation of food materials which can produce energy in the form of an ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. So here ADP means adenosine diphosphate. By combining of a phosphate it is converted into ATP. Again when energy is utilized, that ATP is converted into ADP. ADP means adenosine diphosphates. So here ATP we can call as a currency of the cell, where this ATP is stored in the mitochondria of the, it is stored in a mitochondria of a cell. It is stored in the mitochondria of the cell. This ATP is stored whenever it required. It provides energy or ATP for the cell for their metabolical processes. Understanding. So next coming to the next character, that is the last one, that is an excretion. Next coming to the an excretion. Excretion. So here excretion means here by the cellular respiration, here we are producing various types of metabolical wastes are producing like carbon dioxide, water, along with this ammonia, urea, uric acid. These are produced. These are very toxic in the body. That means these are not be again utilized. These are not retained by the body. They have to eliminated from our body. They have to eliminated. So here that waste materials which are presenting, they are very toxic to our body. So that waste materials are to be eliminated. So elimination of the waste materials, that is elimination of a metabolical waste, especially in the form of a nitrogenous waste materials, then such type of process we can call as an excretion. So here elimination of metabolical waste, metabolic waste, especially the nitrogenous waste materials. The elimination of metabolical waste, especially the nitrogenous waste materials. This process is called as an excretion. So here the elimination of waste materials, that is in our when cellular respiration is taken place, here from the metabolical activities are going on. Here what happens, some amount of the waste materials are produced. That waste materials are, for example, the carbon dioxide and water, and also here ammonia, urea, uric acid. So these are the waste materials which are producing. They are not be retained our body. That means they are not again utilized by the body. Why means if they are utilized, it becomes very toxic in our body. So due to this, what happens? We have to eliminate these waste materials from the outside of the body. Then this type of process we can call as an excretion, that is elimination of metabolical waste, especially in the form of nitrogenous waste materials. This process is called as the excretion. So here, based on the presence of the nitrogenous waste materials, based on the presence of nitrogenous waste materials, based on the presence of nitrogenous waste materials, these are classified into three types. These are classified into three types. That means based on the nitrogenous waste materials, here these are classified into, the organisms are classified into three types. So first one is we can call them as aminotelic organisms. And the second one is ureotelic organisms, ureotelic organisms. And the third one is uricotelic organisms. So here, based on the presence of the nitrogenous waste materials, here these are classified into three types. What are that means? One is aminotelic, ureotelic, and uricotelic. So here the elimination of waste materials in the form of especially the nitrogenous waste materials that are present in the form of ammonia. That means elimination of waste materials, in the form ammonia. So such type of organisms we can call them as the aminotelic organisms. That means ammonia is a main excretory waste materials. So here ammonia is highly toxic when compared to the ureo and uricotelic. Why means here ammonia, for the elimination of ammonia, here a high amount of water is required, so that this can be seen in all invertebrates, all aquatic and invertebrates, and also tadpole larvae of and amphibians. It is seen this type of the excretion of the waste materials. So here examples, if you see in here, the all aquatic aquatic invertebrates and also tadpole larva of amphibian aquatic invertebrates and amphibian. So tadpole larva of the an amphibian, will call them as the ammoniotelic. Why means here why ammonia is very toxic when compared to the urea and uricotelic means here to elimination of ammonia here a large amount of water should be required. That means to eliminate 1 gram of ammonia here it requires the 100 ml of water should be required. So here a large amount of water is required and is also a highly toxic when compared to the other organisms. It is highly toxic. So such type of waste materials which are present in the form of ammonia, the elimination of waste materials from the body of an organism, then such type of organisms are called as the aminotelic organisms. So here ureotelic means the excretory waste elimination of waste materials in the form of urea, so we can call them as the ureotelic organisms. So here ureotelic organisms examples we can take in place a cartilaginous fishes. Here example cartilaginous fishes, amphibians and humans. So here it is less toxic when compared to the ammonia, it is less toxic. So 1 gram of water, that means for elimination of 1 gram of urea, it requires the 50 ml of water is required. So it is very less toxic when compared to the ammonia. So here mainly excretory waste materials are produced in the form of urea. This type of organisms are called as ureotelic organisms. Likewise, here elimination of waste materials in the form of uric acid. That means main excretory product which is presenting, that is elimination of waste materials in the form of uric acid, then it is called them as uricotelic organisms. We can call them as uricotelic organisms. So why means here when compared to the ammonia and urea, here uricotelic organisms are very less toxic. That means for elimination of 1 gram of uric acid is eliminated, here required only a 10 ml of water only will be requiring. So it is very less toxic when compared to the ammonia and urea. So here uricotelic organisms we can call, that means the elimination of waste materials which is taken place in the form of uric acid, we can call them as uricotelic organisms. Examples we can see in insects, reptiles and birds. Here example, if you see an example here reptiles, next aves and insects. So these are the organisms where here we can eliminated the excretory waste materials in the form of a uric acid. This is very less toxic when compared to the urea and ammonia. So these are the basic three types of the nitrogenous waste materials which are present in an organism. This is the process of how the excretion, that is the process of excretion means the elimination of a waste material that is in the form of a nitrogenous waste materials which is excreted outside from our body. Why means why how to eliminate the waste materials means these are very highly toxic for our body. So for the toxic nature we have to eliminate these substances from outside of the body based on the nitrogenous waste materials. These are classified into three types: aminotelic, ureotelic and uricotelic. If the main excretory product in the form of ammonia, we can call them as aminotelic. If main excretory product in the form of urea, you can call them as ureotelic. If main excretory product in the form of uric acid, we can call them as uricotelic and organisms. So this is the process where that is taken place, the excretion topic. These are the general characteristic, that is general basic features of a kingdom Animalia. Next we will discuss the classification of kingdom and Animalia. Later we will go for the different phylums. What are the different phylums which are present in a kingdom Animalia? One by one we will discuss in these topics. So now coming to the general classification of a kingdom and Animalia. So this is a classification of a kingdom and Animalia, where this kingdom Animalia, the classification of the kingdom Animalia is given by the R.H. Whittaker. Whittaker classified the organisms into R.H. Whittaker, where Whittaker classified the organisms into 5 kingdoms. Already we have studied. First one is Monirens, second one is Protista, third one is Mycota, fourth one is Plantae, and lastly that is an Animalia. So here all animals are grouped under a kingdom, either invertebrates or vertebrates. They are grouped under one kingdom that is called as a kingdom Animalia. So here these animal kingdom Animalia, this consists of 26 phylums are presenting, but here will having the same character. That means here the organisms which are presenting will having this common and ancestral characters are presenting, will having a common ancestral characters, will having an ancestral common and ancestral characters are presenting. These common ancestral characters which are presenting will shows in all phylums, but mostly the scientists, they aggregated these 26 phylums are aggregated into grouped into 10 phylums. That is grouped into 10 phylums based on the representation of the common and ancestral characters. The 26 phylums are grouped into 10 phylums. That is 10 major phylums they are grouped by the scientists based on their common and ancestral characters. What is ancestral characters? Means the characters which are producing from the forefathers, that is from the parents. That is ancestral means from their forefathers or from the parents to their own offsprings. That means from generation to generation the characters are transferring from parents to their offspring. That means here example, if it taken place a grandfather, from grandfather to the son to the grandson. So here the characters are transferring from here ancient. It shows that the ancestor means the forefathers. Here forefathers means here if you take a family history, here their father generations, here if it taken place. So here characters are arising from the generation to generation. So based on the ancestral characters, Here the animals are grouped 26 phylums which are presenting basically that 26 phylums which are presenting that are based on the common ancestral characters. They are grouped into 10 major phylums. So what are that? Now we will discuss. So here animal kingdom is classified. Here animal kingdoms are all multicellular and organisms which are presenting that are classified into two types. So here kingdom Animalia, or otherwise we can call them as metazoans also. Meta means after, zoan means animals. That means after plants what are the organisms are formed. So such type of organisms are called as metazoans. So here the kingdom Animalia, or otherwise you can call as metazoans. This is classified into two types. One is called as parazoans as well as eumetazoans. These are classified into, the metazoa is classified into two types. One is parazoans and the second one is metazoans. So here parazoans are based on the presence of the level of organization. Already we studied the level of an organization. So here in this first level is the cellular level of grade of organization. So that cellular grade of organization, these parazoans are included. They consist of the cellular grade of organization is presenting. In these parazoans will having only one phylum is presenting. That one phylum it is called as the kingdom, that is phylum Poriferans or Porifera. It is parazoans are based on the cellular level of grade, that means level of grade of organization. Here it shows in a cellular level grade of organization is taken place. So here it includes only one phylum, that is called as a Poriferans. And here eumetazoans are classified based on the presence of a tissue grade of organization or organ system grade of organization, organ grade of organization and also organ system grade of an organization. Here the eumetazoans are classified into two types. That means here based on the presence of the symmetry. Here already we know that symmetry means when you cut the organism in any plane or in any direction or only one direction. So here we'll having basically two type of the symmetry is presenting. One is the radiata means a radial symmetry, and second one is bilateria or a bilateral symmetry. When you cut the organism in any direction, we are able to get two identical halves, then we can call them as the radial symmetry. Here this radial symmetry is classified into two types. It consists of two phylums. That two phylums are one we can call them as the coelentrates, and the second one is Actinophoras. So here these are the two phylums where consist of a radial symmetry. That is divided. So here bilateria means when you cut the organism in only one vertical plane, we are able to get two identical halves are producing. Then such type of symmetry we can call as a bilateral symmetry. Here based on the bilateral symmetry, these are classified into three types. That is based on the presence of the body cavity or a coelom. What is a coelom means? Here it is a cavity present between the body wall and alimentary canal. We can call as a coelom or a body cavity. So based on the presence of the body cavity, the organisms are classified. That is coelom is of three types. One is acoelomates, pseudocoelomates, and eucoelomates or coelomates. So here acoelomates here belongs to the only one phylum, that is phylum Platyhelminthes. And in pseudocoelomates, here pseudocoelomates means here a cavity is not be presenting but look like a cavity. So it is not lined by the that is not developed by the mesodermic and epithelial cells or mesodermic epithelial cells. So you can call them as a pseudocoelomates. Example, an ASCII helminths. It includes only one kingdom, that is, sorry, not kingdom, it includes only one phylum. That phylum is called as an ASCII helminths. And coming to the eucoelomates or acoelomates we can take on place. Why means here a true cavity is presenting between the body wall and alimentary canal. A true cavity is presenting, then we can call them as coelomates or eucoelomates. An example here, it takes place from Annelida to the chordates, including humans also. So here Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata and vertebrates, that is species, amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. These are the various types of organisms, that is various types of phylums which are included into 10 phylums. 26 phylums are presenting. The 26 phylums are grouped, scientists are grouped based on the presence of the ancestral characters. These are grouped into 6 types, that are grouped into 10 phylums. What are the 10 phylum means? A kingdom, phylum Porifera, Coelentrates, Platyhelminthes, and ASCII helminths, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, here total 10 phylums, ctenophores also will be presenting. Here when you coming to this here, first one is the Porifera, second one is the Coelentrates, third one is the ctenophores, fourth one is the Platyhelminthes, fifth one is ASCII helminths, sixth one is Annelida, seventh one is Arthropoda, and fifth one is here Annelida, Arthropoda, and next one is Mollusca, Echinodermata, and lastly that is here total 6, 7, 8, 9, and total last one is the chordates. So these 9 phylums which are presenting, we can call them as an invertebrates or a non-chordates. Here 9 phylums which are presenting, that 9 phylums are 9 phylums are invertebrates. Invertebrates, or we can call them as the non-chordates. Why means here the vertebral column notochord is not be presenting. Due to the absence of the notochord, or a vertebral column is not be presenting. Due to the absence of notochord or vertebral column, these type of organisms are called them as an invertebrates or a non-chordates. So here in non-chordates it includes the 9 phylums, that is Porifera, Coelentrates, ctenophores, Platyhelminthes, ASCII helminths, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, and the Echinodermata. So these are the 9 phylums where they are grouped into 9 phylums. They are an invertebrates or non-chordates. Why they are called as invertebrates or non-chordates means here the vertebral column is absenting. Due to the absence of the vertebral column or notochord is not be presenting. What is notochord means? A long stiff-like structure, a long stiff rod-like structure which is present in the organism. We can call them as a notochord or a vertebral column that is absenting. So due to the absence of the vertebral column or notochord, here these organisms are called as an invertebrates or a non-chordates. And last one is a 10th phylum. 10th phylum is a vertebrates or vertebrates or chordates. We can use the word as a chordates. Why you can call them as chordates means Here a vertebral column is presenting. Here a backbone or a vertebral column or a notochord. Notochord means long, a stiff, a rod-like structure is presenting, which gives supporting for the a body. Then such type of are called as a notochord or a vertebral column. Here vertebral column is presenting in our body. In the from a spinal cord, it is joining from spinal cord to the up to the second lumbar region. While having a second lumbar region, the long, a stiff, a rod-like structure is presenting at the back of the bone, that is called as from the dorsal side. Where from the dorsal side, here a long, a rod-like, this is we can call as a vertebral column. So here, due to the presence of the vertebral column, we can call them as the vertebrates or chordates. So here in these chordates, in the phylum, chordates or vertebrates, here it consists of five, that is 5 sub phylums are presenting. Here subphylums are presenting, that are species and amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. So these are the where we are discussing that will be, that is these are the topics where these are the totally we will discuss the 16 phylums. In this we will discuss 16 phylums are discussed in this kingdom and Animalia. So what are that? Now one by one will be discussed. That will be discussed. That means that are discussed. The phylums which are presenting that are discussed one by one in these phylums. That is total 17 or 16 or 17 phylums are presenting. That will be discussed. Detailedly we will discuss the phylums that are one by one. That is totally, that is 10 phylums. There 26 phylums are presenting. Out of the 26, the scientists are classified them into, they are grouped into 10 major phylums. In these 10 phylums we will classify, that is 10 phylums, there are subphylums are presenting, where total we will discuss here 16 to 17 phylums we will discuss in this topic, that is the kingdom, the Animalia. So this is of the kingdom, the classification of a kingdom, the Animalia. So in next class we will discuss the first phylum, that is phylum called as kingdom, phylum Eporiferans. And also here when you coming to this, here already I said we have to write the running notes. You have to write the running notes, you have to keep it, and also here we will give the questions. That questions you have to frame the, we will give the questions and you have to write the answers for these questions are also. So what are that means here in next class that will be discussed, that is here compulsory everyone should have to write the running notes. That will be checked by myself as well as the madam. That is another madam is there, zoology. We'll discuss, both will check the running notes. Compulsory you have to write the running notes, that is basically that is mainly zoology only. You have to keep a separate notes for the zoology and you have to write the running notes. What we have discussing, the totally you have to go through this, you have to write the running notes. That will be checked by myself as well as the Sumitra madam also. And that is in a next class. In a next class, not now only I will give the questions, you note down that one. So coming to the questions. The first one, what is a coelom? What is a coelom? And explain and explain the types of asylum. What is asylum? Explain the types of asylum. Next, what is body plan? Body plan, and explain the types. Explain the types. The third one is defined symmetry. Define symmetry and defined symmetry and explain the types of symmetry. Next one is the fourth one. Define reproduction and explain the types of reproduction. And the last question. What is the last question, Mensa? Symmetry, body cavity, body wall. What is a body wall? What is a body wall? What is body wall? And explain types of it. So these are the 5 questions where you have to write the types of these 5 types. That is body wall, what is coelom and types, and so what is body wall and types, their body plane, body plan, and symmetry types, and reproduction types, and also body wall, the types of it. These are the 5 questions where you have to write the notes. That is, you have to write the answer these questions, and that will be checked by ourselves. So when offline classes are taken place, we'll check these questions, and also compulsory everyone have to write the running and notes should be written. If you not written means here a severe punishment will be taken place. So this is where in the next class we'll discuss that is what is the first phylum, that is the phylum Poriferans, that will be discussed in the next class.